David, would you please establish a quorum?
I can. Joyce Reese,
Yes.
Ruth Reese,
Here.
Diane Ambleman,
Here.
Duke Horton,
Here.
Bobby Lovett,
Here.
Michael Bunk,
Here.
Richard Handelsman,
Present.
Michael Zaslow,
Here.
Maureen Deviere,
Here.
Regina Latore,
Here.
John Timmerman,
Yeah.
and did I miss anybody? Fausto Fabro.
Here.
David Boas is here. Patricia Caputo.
Here.
Stuart Richland.
Here.
Joanne Robinson. Here. Barry Stokowski. We do have a quorum.
Okay. I know while you were sitting here, everybody read the minutes, you know them inside and out, and you're ready to make a motion to accept them.
I make a motion to accept.
Duke makes a motion. Who seconds that? Maureen, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any corrections to the minutes as presented?
Way back in October, huh?
Yes. Well, we had Thanksgiving, and then we had
Yeah.
Christmas.
Week of
Yeah.
Christmas. Seems like a
Christmas.
Been a long time, but
It has been.
having no corrections to the minutes will be accepted as presented.
I have a little typo,
Of course.
meeting called to order at 10 a.m., not p.m.
Nice catch.
Trying to keep you awake all night.
We're all sleeping.
I know you go to bed
I
at
was
6
sleeping on that
o'clock, Ruth. I'm just trying to keep you up late.
I was there at 10. No, we're
All
on.
right. The minutes will be accepted as corrected. Okay. We'll start with our treasurer's report.
Oh, boy. 6:45.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good to see everyone. The treasurer has basically nothing new to report. We have a budget, we're on budget, we don't have any, what we're watching for is because of the change in the amount, just to make sure everybody is being billed correctly and that they're remitting the right amounts of money. So it's sort of more bookkeeping intense at the moment. And just a lot of administrative stuff going on. As for the treasurer, that's all I have to report. As the resident television producer, I encourage everybody, whatever groups that you're in, whatever activities you're participating in, this is the time of year for everybody. You know, ask someone in your group, or I know a few people have done this, but get me pictures. You can even just email me pictures. I like putting things together and showing people on TV having a good time participating in the community. So anyone that wants to, please submit material that we can put on TV. And if you have any announcements or things that you want, you know, like trips you're going on or whatever, just, you know, keep in mind, we want to get all that stuff on TV and in the blog when necessary. So, other than that, that's all I have.
On that site yesterday, Patricia and I met with the hierarchy of Seacrest. Diana Evans, the new person in charge of their accounting. They are going to put something together. They're going to do a presentation here for all, but they're going to give us something to put on the TV so people, if they can't make it, they can watch it at home on how the new system works.
Oh, that's really good.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the sort of stuff we want to do. I know I've been working with John Hess to do some stuff for CERT, so that we have, you know, try and get some more CERT sort of participants. And that's always a good thing. But that's it for me, unless anyone has
Is
any.
Donald missing in action?
He's on vacation.
In New York.
He's not here.
No, that's a,
Sorry.
we're working on, everybody's heard, we're gonna have a bus going to the building department when they have the hearings. We did have a pretty good turnout. I gotta say, most of the people conducted themselves very nicely. I think we got the message across, but we still need to show up in force. We still have the signature to sign up for if you're opposed. We have a petition at the front desk at UCO. If you haven't signed it, please come in and sign it again. For the La Quinta, yes. And you know where we're at, you know where we stand, and I understand that little blurbs were taken out of that and they were on TV. I haven't seen it yet, but the gentleman that was all in favor of it and myself were the two only people that they put on TV. But pretty much it covered, you know, what was going on, and how far we got, I don't know. The one thing that I did forget to mention, that less than 1/8 of a mile away, they want to put directly behind the UCO building, they want to develop those 6 acres of property into a 100-room place to have limited income senior citizens. So it's gone up, they deemed the property as surplus, and they put an RFP out soon. They did contact some people that do this kind of work. And everybody knows about the rehab center at the north end. So whatever, we will keep you informed as we know as things are happening, and make sure that, you know, I count on this group to beat the drums for us. Okay?
Is there still a bus going on the 6th?
Bus going on Thursday, 8 a.m. by, I think from Yuko, by the Yuko?
Clubhouse.
I don't know. I haven't seen the
I think
flyer.
you said Clubhouse.
Okay.
But I signed up already.
We'll find out.
The clubhouse.
Yes, John?
My association, the same question comes up with the La Quinta, the 100 units and the rehab. Is there any negotiations going on between UCO and the county on reimbursing us for additional security?
No, we're opposing the project.
We understand that,
Okay.
but, or is it on the table with you guys? Have you guys discussed it?
Well, first they gotta let us know what their plans are.
Or we're gonna sit and negotiate
Okay,
that?
now the North Canal, that's a private entity, and so is the property behind the UCO office. The only thing that the involvement is the La Quinta Hotel.
And if they do purchase it, then we're gonna sit down with them and discuss the
I think you saw that, we will.
Yeah.
Okay, how far we'll get, I don't know. But most of you have heard, the president has stopped all these grants temporarily.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were paying attention, what? They reversed some of it, not all of it. The town, Palm Beach, they have $750,000 to start with. They're looking to spend $17 million to buy the hotel, the franchise, and then they have to redevelop it. You don't have to be a math teacher or a scientist to figure that
You're
$700,000
talking
buys a
basically
door
about-
lock to the
About
place.
$25 million they're gonna spend.
They probably, it's a lot of money. And for those of you, 300, you can do new construction, $300 a square foot. So they could build a new building 400 square feet instead of 330 and spend less money on what they're proposing to spend on there. So the more noise that we make, the more further out that we go to let them know. And only one person picked up. I didn't say that, because they're saying that Century Village is closed-minded. We told them, and I said to them specifically, we're not opposed to the project. We're opposed to where you want to put it. Because there are people, there are veterans, there are seniors that need this kind of service. Just don't put it in our backyard
No, I
because
agree.
it's not. So if anybody asks you, we're not opposed to your project, just don't put it in my backyard. Okay.
May I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
As I said when I spoke at that meeting, where's the rest of the money going to come from? Taxpayers. That's where it's going to come from. So not only is it a safety issue for us, and as you know, I told them the 2 cases, and the one gal said, oh, just 2 cases out of 2 cases too many. We don't need people coming on this property with a machete threatening the guards or urinating on our property. It's disgusting. So I said, what are we, the dumping grounds? Because at the other end, they want to put the 100-bed for the rehab. Fausto said on Beeline, there's a lot of property. If we all stick together, and I'm talking to anyone who's going to listen to this, we need to stick together and say, no, not here. There's a lot of other places they can put it. But somehow they feel like West Palm Beach is the place to dump everything that nobody else wants.
Okay, Maureen, you have a question?
Where exactly is the Haverhill facility proposing to be? Behind, right behind us?
There's 6 acres of property directly behind the UCO office. It goes behind the,
No,
the rehab center. I'm sorry, the rehab is the North Canal where the Higgins building is. When you come, when you hit Haverhill, there's a fence there, there's a white building over there.
Yes.
They want to demolish that and put a 100-room rehab center there,
Right behind us.
right behind
Right,
it.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, it was Higgins Electric.
What I want to point out is that right now, that property was changed just a couple years ago to a 47-bed assisted living facility.
Yeah.
And we didn't say a word about that because that's wonderful. It's kind of like Villa Regina. It's an extension of services that we can use. We love that idea. But to double the density, that already is pretty dense, 47 on that little piece of property.
Right.
But then to double the density and put it as a drug rehab, what's that got to do with our well-being? And it's right, literally, I can open my front door, I can see the building. So, sorry.
It's okay. The last note that I have, on February the 16th, which is a Sunday, we are having a luncheon for the volunteers, which you are. You're all invited to come. If you have not notified someone, you can notify Patricia, David, whoever you want, that you will be coming to that event. Please let us know. It's at 12:30 at Windsor Trails, straight down Jog Road. It's a 20-25 minute drive. Winston Trails is the name of the place. Okay? So if you have not heard it by now, I don't know where you've been, but this is the official invitation. Okay, Patricia, we're going to start with you. Officers' reports.
Good morning again. I don't have that much to say as usual. Everyone knows by now with the transportation, if you don't put your name and telephone number, and it's still happening, I will deposit it in the nearest garbage bill. I'm not sending that to the company to be told we can't do anything about it because there's no name, no number. There are a lot of complaints. People want me to make a stop here, make a stop there. I'm not really in charge. I can present it to the company, and they have already told me one more change, then we have to go into a new contract, which means more than $1 million. As it is, I'm having a problem with one of the buses that I might have to eliminate. The rules are from Academy. I just pass it along. I don't own the bus company. I'm not a big shot. I'm like everyone else. I do the best I can. And I do want to say if anybody would like to take over that position, I'm okay. I'm okay with that, really. Other than that, please don't waste our time. You have a complaint, put it in writing. I guarantee you it goes to the bus company. David sends it immediately by fax. Thank you. Have a nice day. God bless you.
Thank you, Patricia. She does a hell of a job. Give her a round of applause. She deserves it. Oh, yes, you do.
She deserves more money. I think she should get
Plus, we all need
Free lunch.
All right. Jerry, you're up.
Good morning, everybody. I have a couple of items here. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the people who work in the UCO office. They deserve combat pay because people were coming in this week. They either drank too much lemonade, too much of the water here in the village, because the abuse that people got was unbelievable. Michael could even tell you yesterday how many times were you called the rock.
We'll leave it at expletive, deleted, and a lot.
Wow, really?
So I have to give a shout out to all those people who
I'd
really.
say there's also a few the nasty people. But at least somebody comes along and helps me throw them out.
Right. Okay. And then Maureen also had
Really?
a hard time. Wednesday she was in battle. Right.
It's a bad
Battle.
thing.
And it was me and Jerry when he
Right. Yeah.
me and Gloria.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Just a couple of things. Just a reminder that after January 1, if you're if you're a member of your board, you must take a 4-hour class. The class is going to be given here by Mark Friedman on February 10th. You need to register either online or come early that day to just sign in. Yeah, David. Sorry.
Really prefer you to register online, because there's not going to be a whole lot of time for you to register on that day.
What was the date again?
The 10th.
February the 10th.
What happens if your board,
Monday.
your entire board was elected officials do not take it?
Okay, the answer is very simple. If they do not take it within 90 days of their election, they are automatically off the board. Now the question which was brought to me, which I asked, was what happens if they don't take it? You know, is there a way to monitor it? And any owner of that association can ask to see the proof that you took it. And if they don't have the proof, you speak to Donald or myself or Fausto or your maintenance company called DVPR, and they will make sure that that person can, the day, in other words, the 91st day that they're on the board and they haven't taken that course, they're off the board. Totally. They cannot serve.
Who tells them that they're off the board?
DVPR.
This, what state statute 718 says, you need to take a course. It used to be an hour and a half, then they made it 2, they made it 3, now they made it 4 hours. So they're going against Florida State Statute 718, which mandates that 90 days after being elected, they need to take a course.
What if they said that they read the bylaws?
No good. They have to have a certificate of completion from, okay, I'm taking the course with Mark Friedman. I'm taking it on February 10th. He's going to send me a certificate that must be on file with the condo secretary. Condo secretary has to have a copy of all the certificates.
But the condo secretary is never there.
Just
Come to the office, if it happens, come to the office, we will give you a form to fill out, and you contact DVPR saying that your entire board has not met their fiduciary responsibility under 718 statute, they are not certified, you want them to take action.
Even
Yep.
if you're not a board member, I can report it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
any owner.
How often do you have to take this course? Every year? Or just
The first year it's 4 hours. Right now, we have been told, and it may change, that every year after it's a 1 hour course.
As long as you remain on the
As long
board,
as you,
there's gonna be it used to be 5 or 7 years, they haven't really determined the length of time, but if you remember, 3 years ago, they passed that you can only serve on the board for 7 years, and then you have to step off the board. Okay, so I would assume that as long as you stay on the board for those 7 years, you're covered, and then you gotta take it again.
okay. You had a question in the back.
Yep, I just want to let everybody know, it's really easy. I already took it online, and it was with Becker. It's a 4 hours, and each hour is a module. At the end of and it's live, right? So it's live attorneys going over the 4 parts. At the end of each hour, there's like a secret answer.
Right.
You have to make sure you just jot it down, and then after the 4 hours, after each hour, and then after the 4 hours, before you get your certificate, it's going to ask for that secret question. And then you just input it, and the next day or 2 days later, you get your
Yeah,
certificate.
they did that to make sure that you're sitting in front of the computer.
Exactly, that you're paying
And
attention.
obviously,
It's
there
not
are 3 ways to take the course. You can take it here on the 10th, you can take it down at the convention center on the 11th, or you can take it online.
And what's just to say, if one takes and writes down the secret word and tells everybody else,
No, no. No, you
Speak to
have
that
to
lady in the
register,
back, maybe
you know, Becker, it's really simple, it's not hard at all. You just, you know, as you're doing your housework or whatever, you know, bring it up, it's a Zoom, and, you know, just keep paying attention. It's not, don't be alarmed, it's super easy, you know, but just make sure you jot down that secret word, and you'll get your certificate in a day or 2.
Right, why don't you talk to her after
Yeah,
the meeting,
yeah.
okay? I do have a couple more items I wanted to bring up here. we had a meeting with Seacrest. We had our annual meeting yesterday, and Seacrest people were there, so I brought up this issue with them screwing up the payments this year because they've been horrible. So Sean has said that everything should be straightened out by sometime in February, no later than the beginning of March. You'll be getting information from Seacrest as to how the new payment is going to work. And if you use Click to Pay, you can't use it anymore. So that was basically what Jay told us. Yes, ma'am?
Can I ask you a question? So I wrote a check in January, and I've been calling the accounting department for my January payment on January 1st. As of today, it's still not cashed.
Okay.
Some of the buildings are getting letters of the different options on how to pay. I'm in Windsor, I don't know if they're doing it alphabetically,
Yes.
but I haven't received the letter yet.
Okay, I can,
And I went in on Wednesday and I paid my February check, you know, like for February, just to be on the safe side, and January still hasn't posted.
it's the new system, because that's the first thing I did ask about. And I told them my payment, it came out January 27, it usually comes out on January 6th. And some people told me they didn't get their coupons yet, so we spoke about that first. I said, listen, a lot of people come in, including myself, you haven't taken out the payment, what's going on? This new system, like all new systems, like when we had Comcast, there was a problem, and broadband, has to work its way through. And Jerry's right, by February, March, you're not going to be penalized because it's their, I don't want to say error, but you know, they're trying to work the system. They're going to start Zoom meetings, and they're going to get a package together. They're going to present a lot of things to help us. Right now, it's Michigas, it's a mess.
Yeah.
So just be patient, they're willing to work with us, and it will work out.
Okay.
Just one thing. I had mine automatically taken out, so I have.
You got nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
So it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Eventually
Okay.
it'll kick in and they'll take out the money.
Okay, I have two more items that I want to cover. First, and this is a true story, folks, that I'm going to tell you. I got a call from an association, wanted to know what the maintenance payment was. I said, I don't know, not your association, but I think your president is sitting outside there. I'm going to ask your president, if the president, you know, maybe he or she be able to tell me. I went over to the president and said, I have somebody from your building who wants to know how much they have to pay for the maintenance. This is this is the truth. The president told me, how the hell am I supposed to know? That was her response.
Wow.
Okay? Okay. And the person told me who to call to get the answer. Presidents of associations should know what their maintenance payments are. Okay? Basically, again, I believe in transparency. Everybody should get a copy of the budget, of what their payments is going to be. If you're in a 3 or 4 story building, you have to get, everybody has to get the milestone report and the SERS and the strategic reserve study report. And these are things that everybody should have. You have to be really transparent with your owners. And just while I'm commenting for a moment on the 3 or 4 story buildings, I can tell you, based on comments that I've been listening to, maintenance is only going to go up. And in some cases, possibly, people will be paying $1,000 a month maintenance. In some cases. So it's just,
more?
no, I'm saying, let's say you're paying $500 now. It possibly could go up to another $500. And this is basically that the state has not done anything to relieve our burden here of being a 3 or 4 story building. And we have to have fully funded reserves. And it's really very, I know on some owners, I can tell you some owners in my building who come to me, we are finding it very hard to pay and we may have to sell.
Where they gonna go?
Hey, you know, some people are just living on Social Security. And if they have to come up with $1,000 a month, what does that leave them for the rest of the month? This is something that's really, really serious. Everybody should get a copy, or have a copy of the most current condo documents, and I'll tell you why. I learned so much in Yuko, it's amazing. I got a call from somebody over the weekend. the President Association told me that I cannot be here without the owner. And it was the sister of the owner, and President says, you're gonna have to leave or I'm gonna call the sheriff. The sheriff will not evict somebody from their condo. That's not their job. They won't come, they will not get involved with a condo matter. If it's a civil matter, it's another issue, but a condo matter, they're not gonna come. So what can you do? And what I learned, and Fausto will correct me if I'm wrong, is that you could block access to their call-in, coming in and out of the village. You would have to send a letter signed by 2 board members, and asking or telling this person is not supposed to be here. We want his call-in access to be blocked, and so they can't come back and forth.
But it has to come from a board member, it can't come from
Has to come from a board member.
So the board
Yes.
members are the ones that are doing it. And you're stuck.
It's impossible.
So, you're
Yeah.
saying that an owner can't have a guest unless the owner is there with the guest?
No, let me be very, very specific. There are associations that have in their documents that say you cannot have a guest in your apartment without you being present. There are associations, like my association, you could have a guest in the apartment without the owner being present. So really you have to see what your documents say with regard to guests and presence of owners.
Jerry,
Yeah,
the
okay.
majority of the bylaws in Century Village, unless they've been changed, say that an owner must be present if you have a guest.
There is one clause that I've read that, I'll use mine, it's a 1 bedroom, I'm only 1 person, so I'm allowed to have 2 guests, but if it's a husband and wife that own a 1 bedroom, they can only have 1 guest at a time. Or it's like guests.
That's your bylaw.
That's your bylaws.
Yeah.
Okay, so understand, there are over 300 different bylaws, each association has their own bylaws and documents. So it's very important, at least from my point of view, that every owner has a copy and understands what they are allowed or not allowed to do based on the documents. The only point I'm just trying to make is that you can't call the sheriff to evict somebody. You have to come to UCO and have them stop, put a pause on their call and.
But the association can make exceptions if they feel.
It's your association.
No, I know, I understand, I'm just
But
bringing it
how
up.
do I put a call in when it's the board members that are doing it, and they're just bringing it?
DBPR. Fill in the form, they're in violation of state statute and your bylaws. Okay. Regina, you had your hand up?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yes, we have that in our bylaws, and our bylaws are so old. I'm working on trying to get proposals for new bylaws, but it does say, when an owner is not present, a guest cannot be there. But if the owner is present, then the guest can be there for 30 days.
30 days, right.
A year.
30 days in a calendar year, and then
Okay,
they
and
need to
then
be
the-
investigated.
And then the other item John brought up, there is another part in the bylaws where it says if it's a 1-1, there can only be like 2 people living in there. There can't be 3 people living in there. That's
That's
different.
Occupants.
Yeah, that's different,
That's different. Yes,
The
ma'am.
state has occupancy limits based on the square footage. So that might be what she's
But-
talking about.
I understand, but here you have state statute, but you also have WPRF that, we just went through this, that we have somebody that was requesting occupancy, and it was a 1-bedroom, and they already had the resident plus 3 occupants, and they wanted a 4th occupant. And Eva turned it down, said absolutely not. Yes, Joyce?
Talking about documents, bylaws, my building, when somebody moves in, I'm pretty sure that we don't give it to them. And in the old days, people would leave it behind for the new owner. So are we responsible, do we pay for those documents to give to the new owners?
Yes.
Or if we don't have?
Joyce, you have nothing to worry about, because after July 1st of 2024, the board becomes responsible to give those documents to the new owner. And you should have a website by the end of the year that the people can go and download their own documents.
Yeah, and they can be pulled off mypalmbeachclerk.com or
Yeah.
.gov also if somebody needs help with that. I could show you where that is to get your
But
bylaws.
I think it's the board's responsibility to meet with the new owner, go over if you want, go over highlight the rules and regulations of your association. And I also might say that when referring to documents, etc., there's a question, call your attorney. Have your attorney, get your attorney involved. We at UCO are not attorneys, and we cannot get involved with any association legally. Legally, you have to have an attorney, you should have an attorney who you could go to for legal questions regarding your association and what's going on in your
Excuse
association.
me, Jerry, could you stop, please? Listen to, and you're being very inconsiderate. Go ahead, Jerry, I'm sorry.
I just basically, I said, you should have an attorney that you could go to when you have a legal question regarding your association. And sometimes it's best to get a legal opinion in writing that you could show to an owner, this is what our attorney said, and this is what we have to follow. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. David, you're up. No, you're first.
Want Stuart to go next?
No, I want David to go next, because you're closer to the audience than we are.
Oh, David.
Good morning.
Morning.
Is there anybody here that's a member of the executive board that is not going to attend the volunteer luncheon? You're not going to, okay? Anybody else not going to? All right, because we have to get somewhat of a hard count into that shortly. Thank you.
Okay.
Item next. The next delegate assembly, we will have nominations from the floor. I'm sure all of the executive board members are going to get nominated from the floor to run for either vice president, recording secretary, or executive board. Please consider it. As of right now, we have 2 candidates for vice president, 1 candidate for recording secretary, which is just to fill the 1 year remaining on the term of Kelly Jansen. And we have 10 slots available for executive board.
12.
12?
12 people running. No,
12
people
spots
running. Oh,
available.
I'm sorry, yeah. 12 people running.
Don't mean to correct you, but we have a need for more people and newer people to get onto these positions. Some quick things about nominations from the floor. To be nominated from the floor, you must be there in person to accept the nomination. Only signed-in delegates can nominate someone from the floor, and it must be seconded by a delegate or an alternate, whoever it may be, from the floor. Please just don't go up and nominate anybody and they're not there to accept it. But consider running, and I appreciate you all doing that. I believe I've talked longer at this meeting than I have at any other meeting for a long time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do all of us have to rerun, or do we have, our year is still going? I don't
If
know.
you didn't get a notice from me, then you still have another year on your term. Everybody that time was to rerun should have gotten notice, and I think just about everybody that did is rerun. Thank you.
Joyce, Ruth, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd just like to add something. I answered Regina by email.
Yes, I got it, thank you.
She had asked about photos for the election. They will be taken at the next delegate meeting, February 7th. I think Ken Graff is going to do it.
Ken Graff is
Whoever.
going to do it.
Whoever. And also, the newspaper will be out this weekend, delivered to you on whichever day you get it. That's it.
Thank you.
Of course, if you don't like your picture, you don't have to put your picture in.
Stuart, you're up.
Did someone say last is best? This is the second time that Jerry went before me and took most of what I wanted to say, especially about those people who are coming in for barcodes. There are some that are uncivilized. There are others who don't understand what they must have in order to get a barcode. And then there is quite a few groups that are coming in that have language issues, and they cannot articulate what they want, and as a result it makes it extremely difficult for us to meet their needs. Even though we're doing it, it's extremely frustrating, but we're moving on. I'd like to address a couple of things that were said. In my association, we have a rule, bylaw rule, that says that only if you're going to have a visitor, the owner must be there. And we emphasize that. Based on what has happened in the last 5 or 6 months with one of the unit owners that is purchasing another unit, and all the problems that they have contributed and forced us to go to court to force them to redo the damage that they had done in the lanai. I sat down with my president and I said, I am going to write out a paper which clearly describes what a unit owner can and cannot do, what our specific rules are that they come in contact with all the time. And I will explain to them in the paper exactly how our building is organized and how it is run. I will indicate what UGO does, what WPRF does, and how they could use these services. I will also indicate that if they break the rules and regulations, we will take either one, legal action, if it's appropriate, or we will use what we have done before and take away their phone-in calls and trace them back to all of their friends and cut them off so they can't get people coming in here, plus any contractors and so on. This is being done because of the fact that when I spoke to a unit owner who was going to do work in his apartment, I spoke to him. I was no more than 3 feet from him, and I told him what he could and could not do, and he nodded his head and said, yes, I understand, and went ahead and done it anyway. And as a result, we were forced to go to court and get all of that redone, and he had to pay for all the damages and put everything back the way it was supposed to be. We have a group of people coming into Century Village that bring with them an arrogant attitude that they're going to do whatever they damn please, and there's nothing you could do about it. Well, what I'm writing out now, I'm going to go over it with my board. I'm 3/4 finished, and I want my board to approve it, and then I will give it to every unit owner, especially the ones that are here now that just purchased recently. I want them to sign it, and I want a copy of that put in our file so that we could use it in any court action that we would take against them. One of the other things that we have in our bylaws is that a unit owner, a family member cannot own another unit in the building. So families do not dominate what goes on. Another problem that we don't have, but other associations do, is that people are not living here full-time. And if you have board members that are not living here full-time and do not react to the correspondence that you send them when you need signatures and everything else, it does create a tremendous problem. And that's one of the trends that is happening here, and we're going to have to, somewhere along the line, cope with this. And I guess that's about it, so I'm finished.
Thank you. Do we have any old business? Any old business? Do we have any new business? Yes?
I just want to thank Stuart and Jerry and all of you for all the information. I mean, I learned a lot. As long as I've been on my board forever, but every time I come here, I learn something new. So thank you.
Well, you see, on the second Friday and the third Friday of the month, we're here, especially the third Friday of the month. The officers are here, Ruth is here, and we talk to everybody. And we try to answer everybody's questions, but it's funny that, yeah, and starting with the next month, February, I have invited Seacrest to come down to explain part of the new program on the third Friday of the month. So if anybody has questions, without bringing the pitchforks and, you know, the axes, you'll be able to get some questions answered.
Good idea, thank you.
Well, we're progressive. We don't want to react. We want to be ahead of the game. So when Patricia and I met with them yesterday, we spoke to them, and they want to make their transition as fast as possible. So my understanding is it's going to take them like probably to March for them to implement the new system. And then you got to give them 30 days to work out all the little bugs. So what they told us yesterday, by the April, beginning of May, all the bugs will be worked out. Okay? Well, don't forget, they have 200 and something associations that they got to.
No, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, while they're working out their bugs, they're not getting paid. People, if they didn't get coupons, they're not paying. Some don't know what to pay, so it's in their favor.
I got to tell you, you've been to the last 3 months of the meetings that I've been giving. And I tell associations, when you get that proposed budget, read it. Okay? Yesterday, Patricia and I sat with the fifth person in charge of their accounting department, and I made a suggestion because they said that Greenbrier A had an issue. Within 30 seconds, she found a $60,000 error. Okay? So you gotta, you cannot not read those finances. And I've been telling people, if you don't know how to read it, come in, sit down with one of the vice presidents, sit down with Joanne, sit down with your property manager, and go over line by item, because they do make mistakes. You know, they're not perfect. And if you don't know how to read a financial statement, you should be learning how to read a financial statement. But I mean, literally yesterday, I said, listen, this and this happened, and she flipped through, she goes, well, I bought your financials for your building. Literally, 35, 40 seconds later, she says, oh yeah, there's a $60,000 mistake in your account, okay? Yeah, they took money out of the wrong account, and they shorted my other account. So again, the money was there, but they took it out of the wrong account. And the only way that you're gonna find it is if you read the finance, but they're always like 2 months in arrears. So supposedly the new system, once it's posted, you're gonna be able to go on a website and see the day-to-day finances. Okay, so it should prevent some of this. Go ahead, Maureen.
One thing I'd like to share is what we picked up on. If you don't have Seacrest as your pest control company, say you have an outside company coming in to do your building, be careful with that attachment that they send for pest control, because we don't use them for our condo association anymore.
Yep.
They will do the outside. That's what they're contracted to do, is spray outside.
Seacrest?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the contract.
We have, okay, I'll just tell you, we went to Hewlett like 3 years ago, okay? So we have Hewlett on our contract, okay? What they tried to do
Eliminate you.
is, no, they tried to put themselves in
Yeah.
as our main pest control, inside and outside.
I ran through the same thing.
And we saved a lot, because I figured it out. I looked at the whole thing, and I read it, and I had my president read it, and goes, oh yeah, you picked up on that. I said, yes, I did. So we were
Yeah,
getting
no,
all the
but
time.
these people should be teaching. I understand, Joanne, but these people are leaders, and they should be telling their constituents and the people in your building to look through this paperwork.
Just a
And-
suggestion to everybody.
Again, you wanna laugh? In Greenbrier 8, they eliminated my landscaping project. So they eliminated what we paid them. Think about that.
Oh,
Yeah, they eliminated that line. Okay. Anything
I
else?
just want to make an observation about what you said about the pest control.
Yes.
We have Seacrest, they do pest control on the outside, and once a year, they go into every unit and they do pest control there. In addition, we have hired Hewlett
Yep.
to do our pest control. They come twice a year to every unit and spray. In addition to that, if a unit owner has an issue, they can call Hewlett, and Hewlett would come down and go ahead and take care of that. That is the reason why we focus on demanding every unit owner give us a key to their unit. We have never had termites, and we have never had a serious pest control problem because we're on top of that all the time. I have told unit owners, if you do not give us a key and there is an emergency, I use the term, we will smash in your front door to get inside, do what we have to do, and then send you the bill. When they hear the word smash, it makes them extremely nervous. Whether they have a key or a key and a combination locks and so on and so forth, we need to get in there. We explain to them realistically what we're doing. We ask them to understand this is common sense. We're protecting your property and everybody else's. And so far they have conformed. I'm just waiting for the first one to say, no, I'm not going to give it to you. And then that's when I'm going to have to raise my voice and get very, very angry for the first time.
Yes, somebody had their hand up over here?
Fausto, your monthly meetings with specific associations.
That's the second Friday of the month.
I would like to know when my particular association is scheduled for such a meeting, because my.
We're going in alphabetical order. So we
Alphabetical.
haven't gotten to that far yet.
Okay, because my people are, you know, okay, I just.
But anybody's welcome to, if you want to come, it's the third Friday of the month, it's
Oh, no,
open
I
to
know,
everybody.
but I'd like to know when my building is scheduled.
Like I said,
So I can tell them.
we're going in alphabetical,
Okay.
usually call the president, if the president doesn't respond, we call the vice president. John, you got your hand up?
Yeah, Hewlett, we have Hewlett, they do the exterior once a month. They take care of our termite traps.
Right.
They also do the laundry room and the storage room. And we have a list on our bulletin board, so in between the month, you put your name on the list, they will knock on your door. And if you're not home, then you have to wait until the next month. But we also have Seacrest, who does like the anthills in the parking spot.
Yeah.
And they spray.
Yeah.
They'll do the
Yes, Joyce?
We have a contract with Seacrest about the extermination. And
Careful.
my dealings with them, if I have a specific problem, they come anyway. In other words, we can call them individually.
Right.
Also, I have a question about the termites. If the termites are inside your apartment, the owner is responsible, not the
Yes.
building, correct?
Right.
No, if it has to do with the door.
The inside, she said the inside of her apartment. They fixed
The
the
doorway when you open the door.
the front door, the front part of your building, and the main wall from your catwalk to your apartment is the responsibility of the association.
Okay, but I'm-
Anything on the inside
Is the
belongs
owner.
to the apartment owner.
okay, thank you.
Okay, that's it. Anything for the good of the order? Yes, Richard?
Two items. First, that northeast corner of Century Village where the drug facility is proposed, clear out the vegetation. I was just riding by it, there are two palm trees, they're called the shrubs. It's completely overgrown and hidden. Clear out all that vegetation in the northeast corner. Secondly, in addition to suspending an owner's call-in privileges, suspend any privileges for that unit. Stuart mentioned that they're also looking at the owner's friends. People have said that an owner who is suspended will get someone else to call someone in. Suspend the privileges for that unit. So if anyone shows up at the gatehouse and says, I'm going to XYZ, sorry, unless it's the
If
owner.
we can only do, and this has happened a couple of times recently, if we have a bad agent in one apartment, we'll suspend that person's privileges to call in, because at the request of the board, okay? If we find that the person that owns that apartment is in cahoots with another person, okay, Donald usually contacts the board and we ask them to send us something in writing so that we can suspend that person's privilege. But we just, on our own, we cannot do it. We don't have that authority. I wish we did. It's called the Morris Park Community Association. They hand out baseball bats and ride around in the '67 Chevy wagon. But, okay.
The association then can write to you and say.
Absolutely. That's the
suspend
process.
privileges to this unit.
Yes, I just told you. Yeah, absolutely.
Not a
Okay, anything else?
I have two things
okay,
I was
I'm
going to add. This is following up with what Stuart had just mentioned. I have two board members in my association. Their sole responsibility is to oversee construction of the building. They check about permits, they check about scope of work that has to be done, and they are on top of anybody who's doing a condo redo. They make sure that it's being done with the proper licensing, with the proper follow-up, and they will stop work. They will have them stop work if it's not done. If it's not being kosher. Let's put it that way. And one more question that came to me, and you realize why in a minute. Religious services in apartments. Now, I walk home Friday night from synagogue, and I pass by some of these places where people are having their prayer services, and I was asked, can we stop the prayer services? And the answer is, according to federal law, you cannot. And I asked Mark, before this whole thing, I asked Mark Friedman for a legal opinion, and he also told me, if somebody wants to have a prayer service in your building, as long as they are not being a disturbance to everybody, you cannot stop them. So that's just something for you to have knowledge about in the future.
So I know there's a building across the street from me where they made the first floor apartment into a synagogue, and that's allowed. I mean, does the board?
That's a board issue, not.
No, I'm saying that's probably legally allowed
Look,
also.
I walked by Dover the other week, and people are standing outside of the apartment. Well, what can I tell you?
No, I understand.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
thank you. See you next month. Bye.